What's up, guys? This is Paul once again, and this time around, I'm actually coming at you guys with a cooking video. So, this time around, I'm actually making dinner for me and my roommate right now, who's actually streaming. I am going to be making kimchi jjigae, which is pretty much kind of a combination of tofu, kimchi, and all their stuff. So, I'm gonna be making that right now, and I just want to show you guys of me making that. So, let's get to it. Alright guys, so we have all the ingredients right over here. So starting off with the tofu, and we got some pork. This is not technically the type of pork you need to use for these kind of, stew, but I don't have anything else, so I'm just gonna be using that. I kind of separated the kimchi juice kind of from kimchi water pretty much, you know, from this jar, but gonna be trying to use that later on. But no, it's kimchi jjigae, right? So we need kimchi. We got some gochujang. We got some salt, pepper, as well as this is gochugaru, okay, which is gonna be the red pepper powder. And then we got this. This is actually water. They call it rice water, but this is basically water that comes out when you are cleaning your rice. So not the first one, but after the second one. So if you clean it twice, that's the water that I'm going to be using. You technically don't need to use this water, but I heard it's a little bit better when you use this water. And then some vegetables, of course. We got some onions and garlic that I'm going to be cutting up later. And then we got some green onions here. All right, so there you go, guys. That's going to be the ingredients, and I got my little pot right here. So that's what I'm going to be using. I got my rice cooking on the side. So yeah, let's get to it. Alright, so starting off, you're gonna cut the tofu to the size that you like. I like to just cut it pretty thin and kind of small. So I'm gonna be doing that, and then I'm gonna be stacking it all on the side. Of course, the amount of tofu that you want depends on what you wanna eat, or the amount that you want to eat. I like to have a good size because there's not too many ingredients going into the stew. So I'm just gonna do that first. And then next one, you're going to be cutting the onions. So you want to have some onions on this, have that, flavor to the stew. And then you don't want to cut the onions too big here either. You want to have it so it's about a size that you can eat, that is not hard to eat. And then next, you're just going to chop up the green onions here. Of course, this is you could use the big green onions here, but I just had the ones that I use for other stews, so just gonna chop those up. And the next one is gonna be mincing the garlic. So I don't have any of the pre-minced garlic, so I'm just gonna grab the garlic, just use the side of my knife, kind of smash it, and then that easily peels off the skin of the garlic, and that allows me to kind of just have this done quickly. So I just like to do that, just smash it down with the side of the knife, and then gonna do that for all of the garlic. You just need about a spoonful, so I kind of did a lot here, not realizing how much I'm gonna need. But yeah, just gonna get about a spoonful of minced garlic here, just for the flavor. Of course, if you do not want garlic in there, you don't need to have garlic, but it's up to you how you want it. Make sure if you guys are using a whole garlic and you're mincing it yourself, then make sure you chop up the butt of the garlic so that you don't have that taste of that that part of the garlic. And then you're just gonna chop it up and mince it. And yeah, just gonna be doing that for a little bit. The whole cooking experience is it's kind of a new thing for me too now, because even though I've been living by myself, for at least with my brother, without my parents, for almost a year now, cooking itself is different every single time, I feel like. So just learning these processes, honestly, it's a lot of a fun experience for me, and I'm really enjoying making these foods, not only for myself but for somebody else as well, because the feeling of having somebody eat your food and tell you it tastes good or things like that is it's definitely a different experience, and a different feeling that you get from other things. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing this for a little bit, just chop up those garlic, mince it, get it all nice and small, just so that you're not chewing garlic. And next one is gonna be your pork. So of course you could be using the stew pork or pork that you use for stew, but this one is just gonna be a bit of a thinner type of pork where you kind of eat it for Korean barbecue. But that's the pork that I had left over, so we're gonna be chopping up to bite size. So you don't want it too small or too big. Of course, this is gonna be something that you're gonna be eating, so keep that in mind. And of course, you're gonna be cooking it, and you're gonna be you're just gonna cook it over the fire, pretty much before you put in the water and all that to make a stew. So just keep the size in mind, and if you don't want too big, then just don't cut it too big or too small. And the next one is gonna be your kimchi. Of course, you're gonna have to get your kimchi, and the tip that I want to give you guys is the kimchi really matters here. Of course, the main ingredient for a kimchi stew or kimchi jjigae is of course going to be the kimchi. So the older the kimchi is, it's going to actually give you guys a bit more flavor when it is cooking on the fire, or being boiled in the water along with all the ingredients. So just keep that in mind when you guys are choosing your kimchi. Not too much fresh kimchi, and of course the kimchi sauce or the kumur or the water that comes out of it is gonna be the key in the taste. And of course, if you don't want to chop up your kimchi to a good size, you can do that. Of course, you don't need to, but if you guys are getting a whole cabbage kimchi, then you're gonna have to chop it up to a decent amount of size. You want to have a decent amount of kimchi here. You don't want just tiny bit. You're going to be using this for your stew, so you want to have a good amount. And there we go. That's gonna be all of the ingredients chopped up. Not too much, right? It's very simple, quick to prepare. So there we go. Let's go and see now the cooking process. Alright guys, so once we are done preparing all of the ingredients, I'm gonna go heat up my pot real quick to high heat. You're gonna be first cooking the pork. So you're gonna grab the pork, and while the pot is heating, we just want to wait a little bit and then pour the pork inside. Alright, so you want to be kind of just cooking the pork a little bit on the side first before you put in the water and everything. And then you just want to you want to basically grill the pork and the onions together in the beginning. All right, and this is gonna help you save time, as well as it's just gonna help you save time when you instead of cooking it in water. Instead of cooking in boiling water, it's just easier to cook it in the fire as well. So you're gonna do that for about a minute to a minute and a half in the beginning. And then once you guys get that done, you're gonna hear the sizzling, all that stuff. So we'll listen to that for a little bit here, and then we're just gonna get prepared to put in the onions. So once your pork turns slightly brown in color, you're gonna grab your onions, and then you're gonna put your onions into the pot here. So you're gonna be cooking the onions along with the pork here now. Kind of get it nice and cooked together. Make sure I chop my onions a little bit bigger, but if you do not want it that big, then of course you can just chop it up a little bit smaller in size. It's not a problem. But cook the onions and porks together for about a minute to a minute and a half once again, and then we'll be moving on to the next step. So as you guys can see, I'm gonna get it all together, and it doesn't have to be fully cooked. The pork is not gonna be fully cooked right away, guys. You're gonna cook it inside of boiling water as well. So, and then next you're gonna grab your kimchi, and then you're gonna pour or put that into the pot along with all of the other ingredients that are in there. So your pork and your onions. This is gonna allow your onions and pork to get some of that kimchi flavor inside. So you're gonna cook that together, getting all the heat onto my camera lens. And then next, after you put that in there, you're gonna put also your gochujang in there. So this is gonna be your basically red chili paste, all right, that we have. So gochujang. It's kind of hard to open it up with one hand holding on the camera with the other, but I managed to get it together and then open it up, and you're gonna get about a handful, or not a handful, a spoonful
of gochujang in there. Couldn't get it all out in one time, so I'm gonna have to. I don't know how I did this. I think I grabbed my camera with my, I don't know, with my neck or something, and then grab the other wooden spoon and then put it in. And if it doesn't all come out right away, then of course you can later on when you pour the water in, you can kind of let the paste melt away into the water later. But get it all mixed together. Of course, you guys are gonna be like, hey, what the heck is this guy doing? He's not even mixing it. Well, I'm doing it with one hand, so it's kind of hard. So off of camera, I got it all together, mixed together, and you can see that all the colors have changed. And once that is done, about for a minute and a half again, you're gonna do that, and then after you're gonna put the fire in medium, and then you're gonna pour in your rice water. Okay, your rice water doesn't need to be like, you don't need to fill up the entire pot. Of course, I didn't do any measurement here, so I just kind of went by how it looked and the feeling of it. And then so a tip that I'll give you guys, and this is a mistake I made in the past, is make sure to just put a little bit less than what you think is going to be good, and then work around with that. It's going to be easier to work with less water than more water. And then you're just going to let it boil for a long time, and then once it starts boiling in medium heat, that's when you're gonna pour your kimchi juice inside, and then along with your gochugaru, all right, or this is the red chili pepper, what is this, red pepper powder, right? I can't even remember it in English. So you're gonna pour that in there. Not too much. This is gonna be kind of your extra seasoning, basically. I didn't put too much salt into this stew because there's already salt inside of all the ingredients that I put in, like kimchi and the kimchi juice and the gochugaru as well. Gochujang also has some sugar and salt in there, so this is really gonna give it a little bit of the color, the redness, as well as the extra taste that kimchi jjigae kind of needs. So you're just gonna put that in there. If you guys really want like a measurement, then probably I would say about a spoonful to a 1.5 spoon. And then once you do that, you're just gonna mix it up, and then you're gonna close the lid. And once it starts boiling again, you're gonna put in the tofu. I kind of skipped out on recording the part where I poured the tofu inside, but as you can see, the tofu's already in there. And once it starts boiling, that's when you're gonna finally just put in the rest of your ingredients, and that is gonna be your green onions. And then later on, you're actually gonna be putting in the garlic as well at the very end, really. So this is just gonna give you the extra flavor of the green onion, right, and the garlic taste. If you don't want to put in garlic, of course, once again, you don't need to put in the garlic. That's something that I just like to do, and just the lens just gets so foggy over that, just so close in it. So that is gonna be nice and boiling, and as you guys can see, the pork is all nice and cooked. And there you go.
That looks bomb. All right, so finally got our food. Took like 20 minutes. Yeah, it didn't take that long. He was streaming and screaming in the background, but got the rice. I cooked the rice separately, but we got our kimchi jjigae. For me it was pretty good, but he needs to taste it and see how it tastes. So we'll see. He'll give me the rating. I choked on it. The red pepper, if it gets to the throat.
All right, real tasting. I like it.
I didn't put too much salt. All the seasoning pretty much was done through the red pepper, as well as the kimchi, the sauce kind of, and then the gochujang. So, but yeah.
It's really good. Do you follow a guide?
I eyeballed it. I searched up what goes in it, but yeah, I kind of eyeballed it.
No recipe,
Not too much.
but it's really good. You gotta take this right here. Look at this.
It's too small.
When did we have this, or did you cut it?
It's the leftover from our barbecue that we had. But yeah. But this is how we eat here. I'll be sharing with more Korean dishes, and if I can't find it, I'll just find recipes and we'll make it together. But time to eat now.